Welcome back to my writer's room, everyone, and welcome back to day 4 of Hamshackle's Hangry Holiday Advent Vlog. We're still doing it all through December. As you know, I am dedicating each episode of the vlog to a member of Team Hamshackle. I'm talking about what's important to them. These are all viewer requests, viewer questions, viewer suggestions, and each one that I take, I'm dedicating the episode to the person who composed that suggestion, question, or request. So today, we're going to reach into our Team Hamshackle mailbag, and we are going to dedicate this episode to Tristina Wright, author and Twitter rock star Tristina Wright. Tristina was one of my first viewers and supporters here of the vlog. As I said, immensely talented author. Go pick up her fantastic book, 27 Hours, which is out right now. Tristina, not afraid to check me on my privilege when I am careless or thoughtless with it, which is to be commended. Tristina, just an all-around groovy person whose support I really appreciate. So this episode is dedicated to you, Tristina. Tristina wanted to know about writing tropes I hate, and yet writing tropes I would tolerate if they're done well. And that is a very authorly request, and one that's very close to my heart because I hate so many writing tropes. So many bad writing tropes that we just will not let go of as a community and as a culture and as a medium. And by that I just mean people, because that's really prevalent in every medium, whether it's SFF or, you know, literary, which is a bullshit term, but whatever, or television or movies, comics. All are written and all are full of bad writing tropes. So I could do hours of a vlog about writing tropes I really hate. Writing tropes I hate, but that I can tolerate if done well does narrow it down. So I'll pick like my top 3, and we'll go with that. The first one that occurred to me immediately when I read that comment by Tristina was, I am so sick to death of the prophesized and or chosen one trope in fiction. I'm so over that. It's so overdone, overwrought, so boring, and just so like counterintuitive to everything. When you really break that down, that never made any sense to me. That whole idea of you take some random ass person, a random ass character, and because of some intangible whatever, they are the only one who can save the world or retrieve the fucking magical sword or whatever it is. Despite the fact they have no qualifications whatsoever. And even if, because it always comes down to like, well, no, they have like a secret inner strength. Everybody has a secret hidden inner strength. Everybody. Like, everybody has resources inside them that they have yet to explore because they haven't been put in the right circumstances. Like, you could take millions of people and put them in the same circumstance that the chosen and or prophesized one ends up being put in, and they would respond exactly the same way with the same bullshit inner strength. That makes no sense. And it's also where you get the whole white savior thing from. And that's a trope that can't be salvaged. I don't care how well you do it. We're all over that. That needs to end. But that's where you get the whole white savior thing from. And that ties into one of the things I always hate the most about that trope, which is invariably, they are like trained or ushered along by somebody who is much more qualified to do the job that the chosen and or prophesized one is doing. And it makes no sense that this other character is not the one just doing the job. Just this whole thing with the chosen bread just seems like a complete waste of time. But there's always some authority that is telling the much more experienced character, no, you have to do this. This is the only way. They're the only one that can do it. You're not right for whatever fucking reason it is. Even though you know all the things that they need to know to do this and are much more adept at them. And a lot of times that ends up, you know, if you look at like The Matrix or like Ant-Man or any number of works, that ends up being like a much more talented and capable woman character having to like lead by the nose some clueless asshole guy because it has to be a guy. That's where that always really came from. It's like the lead dude had to be this like straight white able-bodied dude because that's the universal default demo that media goes for. So that is a trope that I have just come to absolutely despise, unless you approach it from like a really just tripped out angle. And the first thing that springs to mind with that is like Jupiter Ascending, because that was Jupiter Ascending, like, you know, because of genetics. Mila Kunis's character is like the chosen / prophesized one because she shared some genetic traits with, you know, the generations past of the alien culture, whatever the fuck it was. But she was, that was the character. She was the quote-unquote prophesized chosen one. And then Channing Tatum was like the protector character, who even if you don't have someone who trains the chosen one, there's always like a protector character. But like Jupiter Ascending was just so bug-fuck bananas in its approach to the story and the world, and just as a film, and just so clearly the Wachowski siblings like writing their own fanfic, like as 11-year-olds, everything they wanted to see in like a space opera story, that I was willing to forgive the trope because everything around it was like on acid the whole time. And it's just, it's terrible, but it's glorious in its terribleness and in the few things that it actually does right. So that's like an instance where I'm willing to forgive the trope, because that may be the tried and true trope, and it really is, but it's just surrounded by, you know, like, just such like acid trippy madness in such a beautiful, beautiful, shameless, unabashedly enthusiastic fan fiction-ish way. That's another trope that I really can't stand. Okay, so like a modern trope that I can't really stand is being asked to root for an inherently bad character. Like within the last decade, that like overtook television for a long time. That became like the whole Mad Men, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, you know, all the shows were basically asked to root for the bad guy. That got really tiresome really fast for me, because I just, you know, and the thing is, a lot of these shows and a lot of these types of fiction were written well, but once you get past the window dressing of how they've like tarted it up, and when you get to the core of it, you're just being asked to accept the constant victories and journey and cheer for the journey of an inherently shitty person who does shitty things. And the world is just so shitty that I got really tired of bad guys, you know. And I know that was like originally a response to, you know, if you look at like professional wrestling, which I'm a fan of. I was a professional wrestler. It's one of my favorite mediums of storytelling, however you may feel about it. That's how I view it, and that's what it actually is. It's just a medium of storytelling. The anti-hero was a reaction to people being tired of the, like, saccharine, baby-faced, good wrestler. And I understood that as a reaction initially, but like with everything else, we just took it too far. That being said, there's still room to do a nuanced anti-hero type character who isn't a complete piece of shit. My problem with it is we just took it too far to the end of the spectrum. It became like everybody trying to out shitty person the other show or book or movie or whatever. It's like, no, I'll make my character even worse, and people will root for him even more. And it just like that Sopranos, you know, again, Breaking Bad, just like, these characters got progressively to be worse people, and you start to feel bad about yourself for going along with it. So that was something I got really tired of. I would like to see a more nuanced approach to that. I don't think it should be good character, bad character, you know, good guy, good girl, bad guy, bad girl, anything in between. It should be just people. People are complicated. People are good and bad. And that's, when that's done with an emphasis on the more negative, more humanistic, more frail, vulnerable, people fuck up and have to deal with it side of things, I can still go with an anti-hero type character, but I'm just sick of being asked to get behind shitty characters. I'm just really sick to death of it. A world-building writing trope that actually my agent Dongwon Song was just talking about on Twitter with somebody else. I think it was Amal El-Motar. I may be mistaken about that. But they were talking about hinging your world building on the idea that like one thing is different. That if one thing about the world was drastically changed, the entire world around it would change and everything else would be affected. And that's a very narrow, tunnel vision-ish view of both fiction and storytelling and world building and of people in society. Because real life is about constantly shifting change in all quarters. There is no like one thing that, you know, like there can be an inciting event. Like aliens landing is an inciting event. That is an example of like, if that happened, many things would change around it because of that one event. But, you know, the change would not be uniform. You know, everyone would react to it differently. So that idea that, if one thing is different, everything will become this thing is very shoddy world building. You do see that a lot. And even when it's a very, very compelling idea, a very compelling premise, a very compelling one thing, it's still very unrealistic and very narrow-minded to take that one thing and have that affect everything the same way. So that's definitely a world-building writing trope that I thought they nailed that on the head when I saw that conversation the other day. I was like, yeah, that is totally a thing that needs to not happen anymore. We need to think a little more deeply and a little more nuancedly and a little more richly about world building and how the dominoes fall and how everything is a constantly shifting evolution, and it's never just one change that makes all the difference. So yeah. So those are kind of my top 3 right now. Like tomorrow, if you ask me tomorrow, it'd be 3 other things that completely piss me off about it. But those are definitely 3 big ones, especially like in SFF and like genre fiction. I see that a lot. Those are 3 that really affect that genre a lot. So yeah, Tristina, those are some tropes that I think we could do without, or at the very least do better. But again, want to see new tropes. I just want to see something new. It's very hard to do new. That's another conversation that's been going on Twitter lately, is the whole fan fiction thing and the idea that everything is fan fiction, which is very true on a level. And it's people discounting fan fiction as illegitimate or a waste of time, or people should be doing original things, you know, but that's just, everything is a form of fan fiction. Doing something truly new is very hard. I think there's a lot of unexplored territory or sparsely explored territory that we could bring to the forefront and focus on that for a while. Even if it is something completely new, there's plenty of fertile ground to cover that has not been covered because we're too busy writing stories about prophesized anti-heroes who are living in a world where one thing changed, so everything changed. See, I brought them all together. I brought them all together in the end there. That's just what I do. Because I'm a professional blogger, people. Vlogger. I started to say blogger and then tried to change it to vlogger. So it sort of had both syllables in it. That's awesome. Anyway, so that's your Day 4 Advent vlog here on Angry Writer. Hit the comments. Let me know what's important to you, what you want me to talk about. I will dedicate an episode of the Advent vlog here to you this month. Having a good time doing it. Really appreciate everybody participating. I hope you're enjoying it. Once again, this weekend, Saturday, December 9th at 2 p.m., I'm going to be at Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore in San Diego. For their holiday party. Me and a bunch of other really great authors, Tim Pratt, Tony Valdez, Christina Lauren, bunch of authors with a bunch of different genres, books, refreshments, partying, come out, buy some books, hang out with us. Would love to meet anybody who can make it. Hamshackle's holiday giveaway is going on right now. The link to that video is also in the description. If you subscribe right now, if you subscribe between now and December 24th at midnight, you'll be entered into a great prize giveaway. Tell your friends, tell your family, get them all to subscribe to Angry Writer. That would be a great Christmas gift for me, and I will give out great Christmas gifts in return. Holiday gifts, if Christmas is not your thing. So yeah, that was your Day 4 Advent vlog. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm Matt Wallace, and I will see you tomorrow.